Alrighty, hello, welcome back. So this is going to be the last little segment. We've just finished off on classes and objects there. Now we're going to jump to like inputs and outputs. Yeah, so last little bit of the last tutorial, we talked about the last little bit of classes with global variables, instance variables, and whatnot. Yeah, so we're gonna take in some inputs and yeah, we're just gonna print it out. So how do you take in input from the console when it comes to Python? So like, let's just say name is going to be equal to, so in order to ask for input in Python, you just straight up put input. And then in quotes, you can be like enter name. So what this is going to do is it's going to print this part off, but after this executes, it's going to wait until the user like enter something. So it's going to prompt the user to enter a name in this case. So if we were to print name after this, print name, it's going to be like enter a name. Let's just say John. It's going to print it out after with the print statement. So that's as simple as it goes when it comes to actually asking the user for input. So yeah. So let's just say we have a file called input.txt. Let's make a new file, and it's going to be called input.txt. So there are many ways to open files when it comes to Python. So one is you could do it like this. So with open, oh sorry, this is the wrong file. This is input.txt. Let's just have this one at the top here, and then we'll be using this in main actually. Get rid of test. So let's just say with open, and then in this case we put I don't know, let's say input, and that's going to give me that. Let's just say as f. All right, and then let's just print it. So what is this going to do? It's just going to give you that location in memory. IO text wrapper, name is equal to input.txt, mode is equal to read, so we're just reading it. So what is it? There's two differences. There's reading and then writing. So when you're reading something, you're legit just reading it. When there's writing, you're actually overwriting the data and writing stuff onto it. Yeah, you could do it like this, or you could do it like this. Let's just comment that out, and let's just say f is equal to open inputs dot text, and then in the other bar we could just say in quotations, let's read it, and then print f. And make sure once you do this, you close the file. So run this. Oh, sorry. So now we're going to get that again. Run this again. You're going to get that again. So why is this not actually printing out what's in the file? Let's go back to the with open. Comment that out. Let's just say we want to, I don't know, let's read data. Data is going to be equal to f.read. So now it's going to use the read function just like we would right here, but it's going to do it with this instead. So if you were to print read data now, run this, we're going to get the actual file now. So this is just another way to actually print it out. I mean, read it and print it out. There's also another method. You could do dot read line. And what is this going to do? Print read file, meaning read data, and it's going to give you the line there. So what does read line even do actually? So if let's just say we had multiple lines here. So you'd think, let's just change up the wording. This is the entire file 2 and 3. So let's just say, let's put that as 1 too, just so it's easier for the thing we're doing here. So run this. You notice how we only get the first line. So when you use the read line method, it's going to get you the first line. Where if you just use the entire read method, print it out now, you're going to get the entire file. So that's the basic difference between read and read line. So you notice how I put the close at the bottom here. So let's talk about this. What does this do? So when you're not using the with keyword, so in this case we are, you should always call f.close, or in this case f.close, yeah, to close the file and free up any of like the system resources that are used by it. So you cannot use the file object after it is closed. So like you could, so when you're not using the with statement, basically just always use this, f.close. Yeah, so let's just do a quick example here. So let's just do a quick example here. Get rid of this, and let's just say input.text. Nice. All right, so we have this, and what is this going to do? It's going to do nothing. Why is this going to do nothing? f.closed. Why is this going to do nothing? So what this is doing is it's checking if it's true. In this case, let's print out read data. Run this again, and we're going to get the entire file, and then f.closed. We're still going to get this. Run this again. Bool is not callable. Run this again. Bool is not callable. So how would you check if it's closed? So as we said in the last time, you should always use the f.close if you're not using the with keyword. So in this case, we don't need it. You can always check f.close if f.close is equal to true. Print or return, let's print true, just so it's easier to read. And then else, print false. So if it's equal to true in this case, you notice how it's saying false now? If f.close is equal to true, run this. Now we're going to get true. Because with the statement here, once it executes this code in the statement, it automatically closes it with the with statement. So if we had, like without the with statement, let's just say Get rid of all this stuff and open this. Let's just say f is equal to open this, and we're going to read it. Read data is going to be equal to f dot read line. So we're going to get the first line here. Now notice what it prints out. Is it going to print true or false? So best practice here actually would be to get rid of this entirely. So we know with if statements, if something is true, then we don't actually need to put this. So in this case, since this is a Boolean expression, it's going to evaluate out to true or false. So in this case, we could legit just put this. If this is true in this case, it will say, oh, it's true. So it's going to print true since this is a Boolean. So you can also print type of f.closed. If you don't know, of course, type f.close. Get rid of this, just if you want to see the actual type there. Built-in function or method. Yeah. Sorry. I can't spell, apparently. There we go. Closed. So it's of class bool. So it's of type Boolean. So since we know that, it's going to evaluate it out to true or false. So in this case, we don't need to actually put if this is equal to true, since if it is true, then it is true. So it's going to print out true. If it's false, then it's going to be false. Then it's going to print out false. Yeah, so read data is equal to read line. Now if you run this, what do you think it's going to get? It's going to get false. It's going to continuously have that file open. You're going to have an open memory, like getting filled up by this data in this file. So as long as you have this open, it's going to continue to take up memory. Yeah, so print read data. Run this now. We're going to get, this is the entire file and then false. Yeah, that's basically the gist of inputs and reading files. Not too complex, really. You might be like, oh, how would you read an entire file? So this is where we're going to get into more complex stuff. So let's just say we have with open, let's say input.text as f, and then read line is going to be equal to f.read line, and let's just say for I in f, sorry, so used to Java, I in f, print I. Run this. Why are we only getting these two? Why are we only getting, this is the entire file 2 and file 3. If you look back to the input text, these are the last two. That's because this, it takes the first line and stores it in this memory, and then it skips over to the next line. So once something executes, like once something actually calls that line, then it will skip over to the next line. So since we're hitting read line here, it's going to read the first line and be like, hey, we just read that. We'll now go on to the next line in this case, which would be this one. So now it's going to go to the next function. This one's already stored in memory. It'll go over here, and for I in f, f is this, in the file in this case, print I. So that's going to print each line after read line. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Not too complicated. Just something getting used to. But yeah. You could also just print every line by just doing all this. But yeah. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about when it comes to reading files. We're obviously going to get more in depth the next tutorial. But yeah, if you have any questions, drop them below. I will be sure to answer them. If you like the video, subscribe. If you like what you see, like the video. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.